Labor and Industrial Law by M.G. Law. Now we will cover what is industry, what is controlled industry, and what are industrial establishment or undertaking. Page number 17. Industry. What are industry? The definition of industry is given in Industrial Disputes Act 1947 in its section 2J. So what does this section says? It says any business or trade or undertaking or manufacture or calling, okay, or employers, they are called industry. Okay, it includes any calling or service or employment or handicraft or individual occupation or vocation of workmen. These all are called industry. They all come under industry. This was the definition given by Industrial Disputes Act. To meet the changing requirements of modern socio-economic thought, the Supreme Court expanded the concept of industry through judicial interpretation. To meet the changing requirements of socio-economic thought, the Supreme Court expanded this concept, okay, through judicial interpretation. It was done in the case Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board versus R. Rajappa. In this case, the Supreme Court expanded the concept and gave a triple test, okay. In this triple test, if these three conditions are satisfied, that activity will be called as an industry, okay, it will come under industry. So what it says if there is a systematic activity, okay, the activity is done through a system or procedure, okay, and that activity is done with the cooperation between the employers and the employees, okay, this activity is being done through cooperation between both of them. And for what it is being done, it is being done for the production, supply or distribution of goods and services, okay, for the production of goods or services or supply of goods or distribution of goods and services, okay. If anything satisfies all these conditions, then it will come under industry. This was the triple test given by the Supreme Court. After this, the government made some exceptions to the triple test through an amendment in 1982, but this amendment is not yet enforceable, so it is not binding, okay. What were the exceptions provided? It provided many exceptions, like agriculture operation will not be an industry, hospital and dispensary will not be an industry, education, scientific research training institute, they will not come under the category of industry. Khadi or village industry, they are exception. Activity of the government for sovereign functions, they will not come under industry. And domestic services, etc., these were the exceptions provided by the government to industry. But as the amendment is not binding, so through triple test, many of these exceptions were treated as industry in various judgments, okay. Like in Bombay versus Hospital Mazdoor Sabha, the hospital or dispensary, they were declared as an industry, okay, although it was provided as an exception to the industry by the government in amendment, but as the amendment is not binding, so the courts through triple test declared hospital or dispensary as a industry. So this is industry. Next is controlled industry. The definition of controlled industry is given in section 2EE. It says any industry control of which is by a union, the central act declares it expedient in public interest. So if in the opinion of central government, okay, if the central government thinks that the control of any industry should be under the union, okay, then it will declare that industry as an controlled industry through a central act, okay. So this is controlled industry, the control of which is by the union. What are industrial establishment or undertaking? Establishment means institute. Okay, undertaking or establishment, they mean any institute. Okay, so section 2K says that any establishment or undertaking, it means any institute in which any industry is being carried on. Suppose this is an institute, and in this institute an industry is being carried on, so this institute will be called as an industrial establishment or undertaking. Okay, there are several situations, like provided where several activities are being carried on and only one or two are industry. Suppose there are many activities. Okay, many activities are carrying on, only two are industry. Okay, suppose these two are industry, and the unit carrying the industry, if it is severable separate, okay, then only that unit will be deemed as a separate industrial establishment undertaking. It means if industrial activities is being carried on here, but here the activities are not industrial. Okay, so if these two units are separable from all the other units, then it will be deemed as a separate industrial establishment. These will not come under industrial establishment. But if the predominant activity is not separable from other activities, it means the main activity like car manufacturing, it is being spread through all the activities. Okay, then the whole industrial establishment will be declared as an industrial establishment or undertaking. Whole establishment, whole institute, okay, it will be deemed as a industrial establishment or undertaking. This was industrial establishment undertaking. Let's have a quick revision. What is industry? The definition is given in Industrial Disputes Act, Section 2J. It says any business, trade, undertaking, manufacture, calling or employers. It also includes calling, service, employment, handicraft, individual, occupation, avocation of workmen. Okay, all these come under industry. To meet the changing requirements of modern socio-economic thought, the Supreme Court expanded the concept of industry through judicial interpretation. It was done in Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board versus R. Rajappa case. In this case, the Supreme Court gave the theory of triple test. It says that if any activity satisfies all these three conditions, it will be considered as an industry. So what are the conditions? It says if any activities is being carried through a system or procedure, okay, it is a systematic activity, and it is being done with the cooperation between employers and employees, so both are cooperating for doing this activity. And for what it is being done? For the production, supply or distribution of goods and services. It is being done for the production of goods and services, or supply of goods and services, or distribution of goods and services. Okay, so after this the government provided for some exceptions to the triple test. So it made an amendment in 1982, but this amendment is not yet enforceable, so it is not binding. It provided the exceptions, like agricultural operation will not be industry, hospital and dispensary will not be industry, education, scientific research and training institute, they will not be an industry, khadi or village industry will not be an industry, or the activity of government for sovereign functions, they will not come under the category of industry, and domestic services, etc., they will not come under the category of industry. But as the amendment is not binding, so through triple test many of these were treated as industry through various judgments. Okay, like in the Bombay versus Hospital Mazdoor Sabha, the hospital or dispensary were declared as an industry, although the government provided an exception to it through the amendment. Okay, what are controlled industry? If the government thinks that the control of some industry should be in the hands of union, okay, it should be controlled by the union, okay, it is expedient or necessary or essential in public interest, then through central act it will declare that industry as a controlled industry. Okay, what are industrial establishment or undertaking? Establishment means institutes. Okay, so the institutes or the establishment or undertakings in which industry is being carried on, they are called industrial establishment or undertaking. There are several situations. If the unit where industrial activities is being carried on, if it can be separated, then it will be treated as a separate industrial unit. Or if the industrial activity is being spread through all over, then it will be considered as a then it will be considered as a entire establishment will be considered as a separate as a industrial establishment. Okay, so this was industry, controlled industry, or industrial establishment or undertaking. Okay, if you want the PDF for revision, you can get the link from description or comment box. Next topic we will cover is workman.